Time sitting here in Texas, and here we go. I am, having fun getting all these lives figured out. Get 2 seconds to kick this over to LinkedIn, so if anybody jumps on, I can see you and say howdy and hello and all of that stuff. You know, this last week has been a wild and crazy week, man. With everything that's gone on in the business, with some growth, with some speaking engagements, podcasts, magazines, everything else. It's been a pretty flippin' wild ride, going through this. But I gotta admit, I'm having a lot of fun, learning as I go and doing all this stuff. And probably the biggest surprise for me is how much I thought I listened to my gut before I became a business owner to how much I actually really listen to my gut now that I am a business owner. It's wild because um, I always thought I was kind of a risk taking guy, and I'd take a lot of leaps and I took a lot of challenges and steps forward. And but running a business is sure opened up some pretty radical gut check moments for me that I've had to weigh in on. And yes, I'm still battling this damn cold. Uh, I think we're going on 2 weeks now. Um, but you know, in sales, it's really easy to feel like we're going with our gut a lot of times. Asking tough questions or making right moves or doing right maneuver and everything else. But how often do we actually listen to our gut when in life when we're moving forward or making tough decisions? I think I found a lot of times in my journey that I was avoiding, putting myself in tough positions to learn. I was making choices and decisions to get around any sort of tough decision making or anything else because I didn't want the stress. Well, good morning. That was well. I thought when Diane's going live, then my phone dig and let me know you're live. Well, that's the universe saying hello, Miss Lucy. That's so awesome. Uh, uh, no, it's posting now. It was just delayed. That was really weird. So we're having, I guess, live gremlins this morning, loose. But um, uh, and just that's a good point. I'm so glad you joined me in here, Lucy. Because one of the things that I'm finding doing these lives every morning is there are some people that are waiting for me to go live, and that makes it all worthwhile to do. So I truly appreciate you, Luce. Thank you. But you know, when you're in your business and you're running and gunning, there's a lot of choices that got to be made, and there's a lot of decisions that's got to be made. And I find, oh my God, we just can't get away from each other. I'm on LinkedIn and here you pop up. Morning, buddy. Hope you're feeling better. I'm still battling this stuff, Joan. We're getting there, but I'm still battling. This cold is. I slept great last night. Me and Nyquil had a date, and um, uh, it turned out all right. I think you have. I think you gave me your cold. I've had a lot of people told me that from my lives. I've given them their cold. Um, well, if that's the case, then Lucy, then for sure I can take it back. So I'll work on how do I take that stuff back. But as I've done this business and figured everything out, it's wild how much I've had to rely on my gut feel because I found myself in a whole lot of new decision making places, a whole lot of new spots that I haven't been in before. And, there's no roadmap for me to move the business forward. And, so it's hard to make a logical decision when there's no facts to be presented in front of you. So you got to go with your gut. And for me, I think more often than not, my gut is right. I can't say that it's always been right. Um, and I can't say that the emotions didn't hit me harder than my gut did, and I mistaken it as my gut. That's happened a time or two. But I do know that in running a business, there's a lot of risks involved. There's a lot of decisions involved and a lot of moving parts, and there's no way you can keep up with them. There's no way you can to manage all of them with straight logic. I've got some friends and some clients that they deal with everything logically, and their life moves very slow. It's really like they're walking through a bog. And what's funny is you ask them and they tell you they're a very quick decision maker. They're very fast to move. Um, they're very task driven type people. But the truth of the matter is they're so stuck in indecision that they can't figure out how to move forward. 9 years in business, and every time I didn't follow my gut, I got foxed. Oh, I thought I said Fox. I got it, Joan. Yeah, yeah, I think it's the truth because I think a lot of times we find ourselves in situations where we know the right move, but we don't necessarily believe that move. And I know for me, it's come from a lot of hopium. That's a good word I like. Where you're have hopeful optimism, or a couple of times where I didn't listen to my gut is because I was throwing some sort of Hail Mary pass. I was hooking up with a client, a vendor, going on some adventure, doing something that I thought would take my business to the next level. And, always looking back, you can go, nope, that was my gut telling me absolutely do not go that direction. But we get that hopium going, we get that optimism going, we get that feeling going. And instead of going with our gut, we convince ourselves that this is the right move. So one of the things I've had to do for myself to try and battle that, if you will, is ask myself if I'm trying to sell myself on this decision. And it's been funny to ask that question because what I've found is if I ask myself if I'm selling myself, I can get some checks and balances to get me to move forward. So a funny thing that I ask is, do I need to get a second opinion? you know, and sometimes getting that second opinion is enough for me to realize, holy crap, I'm trying to convince myself this is the right move. And when I'm looking for some sort of scapegoat or some sort of easy way out, and that's been a pretty wild tell for me. The other one is I'm asking myself, am I looking for the easy route? Am I looking for the easy button? Am I looking for the easy situation? And if I'm honest with myself, most times I didn't go with my gut. I was going for that easier way of doing it. It's been kind of funny. And the crazy thing is nothing's accomplished on the easy route. Nothing is gained. Nothing grows. Nothing evolves in the easy path. Jim Rohn said it best: "Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better." And that hit me like a ton of bricks because most of my life through the sales, and working for other people, getting the easy road's easy. Getting convincing a company they should spend more money on marketing to bring in more leads, networking to get to the right people. I mean, the easy route in sales is easy. Running a business, don't wish for the easy route. Wish for the learning by going through the tough stuff. I mean, I'm doing that in my business right now as we're working on scaling up and bringing in new programs and new automations and everything else. And I got to tell you, there's some days at the end of the day that I'm sitting back going, "Holy hell, won't this just break loose?" And the truth is every time I say that, it's my mind trying to play that trick on me of let's look for the easy route. There's got to be a shortcut, way to do this. and it's a surefire way to get your teeth kicked in and not get where you're going. I have to step back and go, okay, this is a portion I have to embrace. This is that portion I have to learn. This is what I have to go through to get my business to that next level. And if I'm not doing the tough stuff, if I'm not wishing for the adventure, if I'm not wishing for the learning, then I'm looking for that easy route. And I know over the past 20 some odd years I've been doing sales, and the last couple of years running my business, excuse me, that if I took the easy route, um I was going to find myself a year down the road looking back and being the same damn person I was before I started down that adventure. So I'm learned and I'm learning to seek the challenges, seek the tough parts, and the only barometer I have is my gut. Because I can tell you that a lot of times I know which direction to go. I know which move to make. I know what decision to make. I know what is the right direction I need to go, but I try and talk myself out of it because either it feels like it's going to be hard, or it feels like it's going to be tough, or it feels like it's going to be uncomfortable. So I've had to learn to really step into that moment and go, okay, here we go. And I've done a few tricks to keep me going. If I need to do a lot of sales, heavy business development, I'll play, a sales tape and let that run in the background of my head while doing it. If I need to get myself up to do, a speaking engagement live, and or whatever, I will find something that pushes me in that direction, or create a trap for myself, that allows me to force myself into that situation. I talked about this last night in the Champions Happy Hour, but one of the traps that I set for myself is doing live every morning on LinkedIn. And that's a massive trap because it forces me to actually, get my butt moving. I mean, I took NyQuil before this morning, and I literally rolled out of bed a half hour ago, which is so late for me because I'm up at 5 every morning. And, that's 3 hours later, but, I needed it. My body's still trying to recoup, and it's telling me to take it easy. So I'm taking it easy, but doesn't mean I'm not going to show up here and do these lives. Doesn't mean I'm not going to continue to run my business and move things forward. And I'll tell you, um, looking to do these lives every morning, there's it's not a lot of work. It's a lot of mental game, figuring out what you're going to say every morning and going. Um, and, I drive a couple of people bonkers. They're like, how can you come up with this much content, every day and have something to talk about? Really easy. I'm not creating anything, right? I'm not creating PowerPoints and workshops. I'm just talking about what's going on in my world and my life, because I know if me sharing my journey, other people are going to be into it, only because a lot of times they're going through the same stuff. They're going through the same adventure. They're going through the same trials. And by me being brave enough to embrace a moment of being raw and sharing what I'm going through, other people are going to be into that, and I think that's pretty cool. And I think that's a worthy cause, and I know will pay off dividends in the long run. So um, that's part of this adventure. And there's a lot of mornings doing these lives. My head is like, do you really want to do that? Do you really want to go live this morning? I mean, really, do you really want to jump on there? I mean, you got to drive 10 minutes across town. You've got to get everything turned on. You got to set up your black screen. You got to do this. You got to do that. And then my gut, I have to go, look, dude, you told everybody you were going to go live. Get over it, and just pull the trigger and get it done. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. And that's a lot of what I'm doing, with all this process. So so put some checks and balances on your life. Put some things in place that allow you to continue to move forward in your business, in your life, that have no backouts. I think, once you understand that to move forward, you got to have a vision that cannot fail. It makes life a hell of a lot easier to continue putting one foot in front of the other. So, but once again, my voice is getting tired on me. So I'm not going to do this for very long this morning. But um, every time you're stacked up against it, and you're just trying to decide, what decision do I make going forward? What risk should I take? Trust me, lean more toward your gut than your head, and get prepared to step into that moment. And remember, a champion chooses the trials, right? A champion chooses the tough times. A champion chooses the learnings. And if you're not learning every day, then you're moving backwards. Hope this helped you out, guys. Um, how we are your accountability partners for you. How we are your, yeah, you are basically my accountability partners for being live, Luce. Because I know people like you are going to show up pretty much every day, and that keeps me running and gunning. So that's awesome. So thank you for that. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope this helps you. I'm going to bail out of here, get a little bit of work done on the business, and keep rocking and rolling. If you guys need anything, holler at me. Stay out of trouble. Love you, mean it, and we'll catch you on the flip side.